Hi there, welcome to the Animals Naturally podcast with me, Suzanne. I'm founder of Taranet, a leading natural animal healthcare resource at taranet.co.uk, where you can find lots of information on complementary therapies for animals, education, training advice, and even aloe vera and essential oils products. Plus lots and lots of advice on how to care for your animal with general wellness and healthcare advice, as well as how holistic approaches can help. In this edition of the podcast, I'm going to talk about ticks. So ticks are small spider-like creatures. They feed on the blood of birds and animals, including humans as well. Ticks vary in size. They can be between 1 millimetre and 1 centimetre, though they can expand when they're feeding on blood, which is not very nice. They have either 6 or 8 legs. So how often do you check your animal's skin to see if there are any lumps, bumps or creepy crawlies present? Whether you've got a cat, dog or other animal, it's always worth doing. And if you happen to find a tick, it's important to take action, as they can cause severe skin irritation. So what happens with a tick? How do they even get onto your animal? Well, for instance, you're walking your dog, they'll be on a leaf, a fern or something you're walking past perhaps, or on the ground. They'll sense the movement and the warmth of your dog going past, and yourself as well. So if you've got bare skin, they'll come on you as well potentially, and they'll crawl onto your dog, and they'll search through the hair until they reach the skin. They'll then bite and latch onto your dog to feed. Although they may drop off after a week or two, during this time of biting and feeding, they can transmit disease, as well as causing severe skin irritation as well. There are several illnesses ticks can cause, including Lyme's disease, but there are many others as well. There's a huge variety of different species of ticks, which I won't go into now, but they are quite varied, and the diseases they carry can be quite varied too. These illnesses can be very serious and cause long-lasting health conditions that are very severe. So ticks are something that should be taken seriously. Tick control is a priority to help prevent the transmission of vector-borne diseases. And industrial chemical and repellents have been the most efficient tools against hard ticks for a long time. However, the appearance of resistances has meant that the declining effectiveness of these chemicals available on the market. And as with the case of many medicines, resistance by pests or bugs means that alternative methods of helping protect us and our animals against disease are always being investigated by scientists. The misuse, overuse and inappropriate action of chemicals, tick repellents, has led, particularly in some parts of the world, to the development and selection of resistance in the tick population, which means you buy something over the counter or from your vet to help repel ticks, and actually it doesn't make any difference because your animal's developed resistance to it. Additionally, some tick treatments contain chemicals that if your dog, for instance, goes into the water, it means the chemical is then in the watercourse, and it can then have long-term consequences over time, a build-up for chemicals being in the water that ultimately can affect human or other animal or health, even, and fish too. If a tick doesn't actually cause a disease, they can create severe skin irritation. This can be so bad that your dog's hair falls out, or so your other animal can be really scratching and rubbing themselves and just give themselves immense distress. And from that, a skin infection can develop. So although ticks are often thought to be worse in woodlands, they can be almost anywhere. They can be in a field or even in some gardens. And they also can be any time of the year. They're not just a springtime problem, as used to be considered the case. Remember too that dogs, as I said, don't only crawl onto dogs and our animals, they can also go onto humans too. So if you've got bare skin, then they can be on you as well. And other animals, as I said, as well as dogs. You may hear of various ideas for removing ticks. If you find a tick, then you can use a specially designed tick removing tool. These allow you to hook under the tick and have a twist and pulling action. It's essential not to leave any of the tick's body in the skin, or illness can develop or persist. You can buy a tick removing tool from your veterinary surgeon. They normally sell them and at a low cost. It can be tempting to use tweezers, but they if you don't do it 100% correctly, you can end up leaving a bit of the body in there. So that's why a tick removing tool that's been specially designed can be beneficial to use because they don't tend to leave any of the tick's body in your in the skin. So you might be thinking, oh, can I buy a repellent? And there are certainly lots of different repellents available. It's worth noting, reading the small print, they often don't stop the tick attaching, and instead the tick still gets onto the skin, and they may drop off after a few days. So you can go to your veterinary surgeon and get a repellent to help repel the ticks, but they can not always work 100% of the time, and they themselves can cause irritation. From my own experience, I've certainly had a dog who had skin irritation from the repellent many years ago. It's worth remembering that your dog's skin, or your animal and your own skin, is a living, breathing organ, and applying any kind of artificial solution or chemical onto the skin should, I think, be a last resort. It's far better to use natural, chemical-free solutions that are gentle and kind to the skin. But remember, a product can be natural and also very effective. If we are careful about what we eat, why should we not think twice about what we put on the skin? So you may be thinking, how can I take a natural approach? Well, essential oils are a good choice for natural tick control. Lavender, geranium, eucalyptus and tea tree oil are all thought to help. And there's been some research conducted to show how they do help, and I can put links to that in the show notes. However, any repellency action doesn't always last a very long time from essential oils. And it's worth also balancing that with the fact that some essential oils are best used sparingly. You don't want to be overusing an essential oil either. So speaking to a professionally qualified expert such as your veterinary surgeon, or finding a veterinary surgeon who has completed additional herbal health training, or a specialist zoopharmacognosy practitioner is wise. If your dog has inflamed skin from a tick irritation, my recommendation is to use aloe vera. I retail the Forever Living products range of aloe vera health and skincare, and have done for over 20 years now, and completely recommend them. You can also buy essential oils from various leading quality ranges. I recommend the doTERRA essential oils range. Again, I do retail those as well, but they are excellent pure essential oils. So what else can you do to help your dog or other animal from ticks? Well, veterinary homeopathy is also a possible remedy. Ledum palustre is reputed to be beneficial, and if you'd like to know more on that, then you can find many veterinary surgeons around the world, including in the UK, who've completed specialist homeopathy training. Helping your dog to have as healthy immune system as possible is also a great idea. It will reduce the chance of serious illness developing. And I've got a special page, I can put a link on the show notes on my website, which talks about immune health for pets. It's the same with people, animals. If we all have good immune systems, it gives our bodies a fighting chance of stopping serious disease developing. So what should you do? How can you help if your dog gets ill from a tick bite? Well, if you're concerned that your dog is unwell, or your animal is unwell, seems off colour, seems off their food, or just not themselves, or they're being sick, for instance, then speak to your veterinary surgeon urgently. And remember to mention the tick. If you know there's a tick there, that is crucial information your veterinary surgeon can take action on. So in summary, ticks are a small creature, very small, say 1 millimetre to 1 centimetre quite often. They can be found anywhere, really, not just in woodland. They can be in fields and other locations, even gardens. They can create serious illness and disease. And even if they don't actually contain Lyme disease, your animal might well find them very irritating and be scratching themselves or rubbing around furniture and irritating their skin in their efforts to it's not very nice, is it, to think about something crawling into your skin. Ugh. So they are irritating at best, can be very cause serious illness at worst. And I'd say there are a variety of essential oils, homeopathy as well, that can all help. And say speaking to a professionally qualified veterinary surgeon, and so finding one who's trained in additional herbal health or homeopathy can be really beneficial too. So I hope that's been helpful. If you'd like more information on how to help your animal more naturally, or would like to know more about animal care, my advice and tips, then do visit my website at taranet.co.uk.